downlink event for the Canadian Space Agency.
Integrity Houston, voice check. I'm coming up on regular OE1.
Also loud and clear on OE1. Actually, both radios sound very close to each other. No big difference between either.
All right, great news. And Christina, with that, we are go for you to begin step 10.
In work. Jackie, I am in step 11 where you told me to give you a call, and I do have one question about Emercom.
We'll take your question.
Okay, not to hold you up, just for understanding, I noticed I had a timer going for about 45 minutes there since we started the ranging. I seem to recall a 45-minute limit for temperatures in TX RX mode. I was just curious, one, if that's a good memory, and two, if we saw temperatures starting to get to their exceedances. And I can take that answer later. Integrity, just wanted to check with you. I assume we can't do the PAO test until Christina's done.
Jeremy, we are in a good config to start the PAO test.
Okay, I'll start it now.
Integrity Houston, the attitude maneuver to the docking window attitude is impending.
Copy, thanks. Jackie, can I go ahead and close the Emercom procedure and consider that complete on my end?
Affirm, Christina, we are ready for you to be done with Emercom DSTO.
Copy.
And Jeremy, we have a good video again, and we're ready for a scene and voice check when you are. Hey, Jeremy, you look great, but we did not hear that audio via the microphone. Integrity, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, Integrity is ready for the event.
Canadian Space Agency, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call Integrity for a voice check.
Integrity, this is the Canadian Space Agency. Do you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear. We're a long ways away. There's probably a bit of a delay, but great to chat with you. I got a few people joining me today. I got Victor and Reed here. Christina's working hard right behind the camera right now.
Hello, Jeremy. It's Lisa. Hi there, Jeremy Hansen. It's Genevieve Beausoleil from CTV News here on Earth. Great to talk to you en route to the moon. We saw those great images, that great image of the Earth today. I wonder if you can describe for us, though, and for so many Canadians who are following your mission, what you're seeing with your own eyes that really those cameras really can't quite capture, what that's like for you, and as you prepare for that flyby, what you want Canadians to take away from what they're going to be seeing and what you're going to be seeing.
Well, first off, hello to you too, Lisa. As far as the images go, we see those exact things, but the difference for us is just how we see them and like how much of the window they take up. And so, gosh, in our first day in space, we just saw some extraordinary things. The Earth up close, and then by the time we had a bit of a nap and got up, the Earth was just so far away again. And then to come in for that translunar injection, we came all the way back to Earth again. We were out there at 60,000 kilometers. We came back to within 200 kilometers of the planet. And it just felt like we were falling out of the sky back to Earth. And I said to Reed, it feels like we're going to hit it. It's amazing that we're actually going to go around and miss this thing. It was just so close. And so to take all of that in was really phenomenal. I don't know. What do you think, Reed?
Jeremy said, you just said it so well, and it's so fun to watch you as a first-time flyer up here running circles around all of us. You're doing a great job. But going from 38,000 miles above the Earth yesterday down to 100 miles above the Earth, and then Christina and Jeremy did our translunar injection just 100 miles off the surface of the planet. We were screaming right above the clouds, and now here we are well over 100,000 miles away from Earth and closer to the moon than we are to the Earth right now.
Bonjour, salut, Cathy Simonet de Radio-Canada. Une question en français maintenant. Je voulais savoir, M. Hansen, qu'est-ce qui vous a le plus surpris, le plus marqué depuis que vous avez quitté la planète Terre, depuis que vous êtes dans l'espace?
The most awe-inspiring thing for me, pour moi, il y avait trop de choses, mais d'être sur la fusée et toutes les sensations de la fusée, c'était quelque chose d'incroyable. J'ai eu le sens d'être un enfant encore, et bien sûr, la vue que j'ai parlé de la Terre et aussi la Lune. Les choses changent avec la Terre aussi. On voit, pour nous ici dans la capsule, c'est comme la Lune et les phases de la Lune, mais c'est la Terre. Et c'est juste quelque chose d'extrêmement extraordinaire pour nous ici. So some of the things that are riding the rocket for us has just been extraordinary, and we have all these simulations, but it felt so different for us in real life. And then the views of the Earth and the crescent Earth is really incredible.
Hi, Jeremy. This is Ivan Semenik from the Globe and Mail. Congratulations to you and Reed and Victor and Christina for everything you've achieved. The pictures look great. I wanted to when you're around the backside of the moon.
So, very interesting that we've taken some pictures. We are now over the halfway point to the moon, and we took some pictures earlier today. And then after putting them on the computer to look closer, we found a feature. You know, the Grand Canyon of the moon is called Orion Basin, and we were able to see the entire thing. Stand by. We were able to see the entire thing, and so it's clear that we are not on Earth because that feature is not all visible from Earth. And so it's already special, the view that we have. And yes, the Earth is quite small and the moon is definitely getting bigger.
And as far as things we're looking forward to seeing, of course, you know, seeing Oriental on the far side of the moon, of course, up close would be extraordinary. But on this, because of this launch date, something that the scientists have added for us is we're going to see an eclipse of the sun behind the moon, which would be pretty neat, actually. And we can use that opportunity to look for some of the lunar regolith lofting, etc. So that's something that we hadn't been thinking we were going to be able to do, but because we launched on April 1st, the birthday of the Royal Canadian Air Force, I'll just add in there, we're going to get to see that now, which is pretty neat. And I love the fact that science just is like, okay, well, that's what we're going to have now, and here's what you're going to do. And it was really cool to see that all come together.
MDSN, c'était la nouvelle. Bonjour, monsieur Hanson. Alors, question intéressante, encore une fois, il y a beaucoup de jeunes Québécois, de jeunes Canadiens qui vous regardent aujourd'hui. Qu'est-ce que vous aimeriez dire à tous ces enfants qui vous regardent et qui sont inspirés de vous voir aller?
What's important to share with youth that are interested in pursuing their dreams, maybe flying in space? Pour moi, une chose qui est vraiment importante, c'est de trouver vos passions et suivre ces passions, mais aussi partagez-les avec les autres. Parce que pour faire des grandes choses comme nous ici dans cette capsule, pour aller vers la Lune, survoler la Lune, ça prend une grande équipe. Et c'est la même chose pour chacun dans nos vies. On a besoin d'une équipe avec nous pour nous aider. Alors partagez vos rêves avec les autres, vos parents, professeurs, et vous allez voir que les autres vont vous aider beaucoup. So for me, when I look back, I didn't do anything by myself in life. I did it with a team around me. And so it's important that you find what you're passionate about, but you share those passions with others, because you're going to find that they're going to help you to achieve them. And that's exactly what's happening for the four of us in this capsule right now. We're out here 200,000 kilometers from Earth, over that now, because of a big team back home on Earth.
Hi, Elizabeth Howell from Space Q. Congratulations to the four of you. And I was noticing that there's a Canadian actor, Ryan Gosling, who happens to be playing an astronaut in a new movie right now, Project Hail Mary. And Ryan also recorded a video for the entire crew, sending you best wishes. And so if Ryan happened to be there, asking you this in real time, what would you all say to him?
That's super cool. We are all really lucky. We got to watch Hail Mary when we were in quarantine. That was a real treat that they sent us a link to view that at home with our families, getting us ready to go on our own space adventure. I would just say to Ryan, you know, it's art imitates science and vice versa, it seems, and he did a great job in that movie, and it's wonderful to see people really leaning into those roles. I thought it was just such an inspirational example, and somebody who goes out there and just gets what was done to save humanity. It's a pretty extraordinary example that we can all follow. We all thought that movie was really uplifting and inspiring.
Hi Jeremy, this is Harry North with the Montreal Gazette. Congratulations on your voyage so far. What's the camaraderie been like with your fellow American astronauts? Have they teased you much about being the lone Canadian?
There is no way that we are ever teasing this man right here. Jeremy and I have known each other since 2009 when I got selected to NASA and he got selected to the Canadian Space Agency, so we've been great friends ever since. It's impossible not to be good friends with this guy, though. It's just his demeanor, his care for others, the way he goes about life, the way he cares about his family. We might joke around together, but we're not teasing him. And Ike, anything you want to add to that?
You know, similar to our countries physically, this crew is very close, and you know, it's been tough to make fun of him because he got up here, and even though he's Canadian and a first-time flyer, he's making it look easy. He's been doing great so far, so not a whole lot to make fun of.
Lisbeth Cerné, agence Science Presse. Nous savons que vous avez apporté de la nourriture du Québec. J'espère que vous avez commencé à y goûter. En avion, on sait que les papilles gustatives sont différentes, donc on goûte différemment. Est-ce que vous avez déjà commencé à sentir une différence dans ce que vous goûtez? Et j'espère que si ça goûte bon.
Je suis désolé, mais j'ai manqué la dernière partie de cette question. Alors, encore une fois, s'il vous plaît.
Donc, la question, Jérémy, était de savoir si le goût était modifié dans l'espace et si ça goûtait bon au niveau de la nourriture que vous mangez.
Alors, on n'a pas trouvé le sirop d'érable encore. C'est ici, quelque part, mais je ne sais pas exactement où de maintenant. On a pendant la première journée dans l'espace, on a trouvé des biscuits d'érable. Alors ça, c'était quelque chose de fun à la fin d'une longue journée. De maintenant, pour moi, ça goûte à peu près la même chose ici dans l'espace. J'ai entendu dire que ça change parce que c'est comme vous avez une grippe dans l'espace à cause de comment la sang bouge dans le corps, mais pour moi, ça goûte à peu près la même chose. The question was if taste changes in space, and for me so far, I haven't really noticed much change, although I was expecting to notice it more. I don't know. What about you guys? No?
Not on this mission so far.
No.
Jeremy, Sean Costello from Skies Plus magazine and RCAF Today. A question for yourself and Victor. From an aviator's perspective, can you please describe your test flight experience so far, including some spacecraft performance observations or takeaways from when Victor was piloting the ProxOps tests? Thank you.
Well, I have to start off by saying it was a ton of fun. It was a great experience. My favorite thing about the whole evolution was that the entire crew participated. All four of us worked together. And I do love to fly or drive, and operate machinery, and this spacecraft flew marvelously. It was actually in every way better than the simulator. It was, the weightlessness, the sound and feel of the thrusters was very different than what we simulated, and all in a positive direction, and it flies very nice.
Jeremy, and congratulations to everyone on Artemis 2. Jeremy, you've spoken of the importance of the Air Cadet's influence on your young life. Did you know you wanted to be an astronaut when you were an Air Cadet? And now that you are in space, what transferable skills and experience from your time in the cadets have served you in space?
Yeah, I did. When I was joined the cadet program, I'd already set my sights on joining the Royal Canadian Air Force and becoming a fighter pilot. And my dad was the one who told me that he thought the Air Cadets would be a great opportunity if I was interested in flying. And he sure was right. It ended up being one of the greatest decisions that I made, 6 years in the Air Cadet program. I was inspired by images of humans walking on the moon when I was a young Canadian, and that's what encouraged me to kind of follow this path to now. But Air Cadets, transferable skills, there's a lot of them. One of them was, I learned to fly, got a glider pilot license, a private pilot license. That was a huge asset for me. Was building some self-confidence at the age of 16 and 17. But it was much bigger than that. Building some self-discipline. I learned a lot of that from cadets. It's not all flying and fun. Some of it is marching and parading around, and got to iron your uniform and polish your boots. And so I learned some self-discipline. I learned a lot of confidence because Air Cadets was pushing me outside my comfort zone. There were things that I needed to do, to get these flying scholarships that I didn't really want to do. I didn't want to be on a parade square in charge of a group of other cadets necessarily. I was a little bit shy, and Air Cadets pushed me outside my comfort zone and helped develop that skill set. So I'm really grateful for the cadet program.
Merci Jeremy, Reed et Victor, c'est Lisa encore. Ça a été une expérience formidable pour nous tous ici à l'Agence spatiale canadienne et en ligne. Auriez-vous un mot de la fin?
Oh oui, pour moi comme un Canadien, je suis absolument fier de notre pays. C'était quand je pense de cette expérience et pourquoi je suis ici en représenter le Canada, je suis fier et c'est juste important pour moi de dire merci Canada for cette experience. It has been an extraordinary experience for me to leave our planet, to ride that incredible rocket with my 3 Canadian colleagues, and my 3 American colleagues. It is such an extraordinary example of collaboration and what we can do when we set big goals and we reach out to achieve them together. And so on behalf of Canada, I just want to say thank you to my colleagues for this opportunity, and I would like to remind Canadians, if we can send a human around the moon in 2026, just imagine what we're capable of doing next. Thanks so much for joining us on board Integrity. It's a great ship here, and we're closer to the moon today than we are to Earth. This is a big milestone for us, and we look forward to sharing more with you in the coming days. Wishing you all the best. Au revoir.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Integrity, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you to all participants. Integrity, we are now resuming operational audio communication. And Integrity Houston, with that, we are ready for the D5 camera at the docking hatch window. And then after that, you can work on dual camera bracket if you'd like.
ULA's ultra-thin stainless steel Centaur upper stage, powered by an RL-10 engine, is then lifted into position. Lastly, the payload fairing, containing the spacecraft, is lifted and mated to the Atlas V rocket. Once assembled, the countdown begins, moving the rocket from the vertical integration facility to the launch pad. The trip to the pad is about 1/3 of a mile. Throughout the 20-minute trip, a payload van leads the move, providing communication with the spacecraft, followed by the ground van providing support to the rocket. The mobile launch platform supplies air conditioning, electrical, and propellant lines to the rocket. Track mobiles at the rear power the convoy, which includes an environmental control system providing air conditioning to the payload and rocket, as well as a backup generator. Atlas arrives at the pad for fueling and other final preparations, and once fueled, weighs nearly 1.3 million pounds.
My day job here at ULA is radio frequency engineering, so my team owns the systems that allow the rocket to send telemetry down to mission control for monitoring during the countdown and launch. The purpose of the telemetry system is to sample and collect data from every system on the rocket using instrumentation ranging from pressure transducers and temperature sensors to the cameras that we use to capture video during the critical phases of flight. All of this data gets formatted into a common telemetry stream, and our transmitter sends it out through our antennas, through the open air, and down to our various collection stations, where it is patched through to our ULA facilities across the country for nearly instantaneous data visualization. Today's mission will deliver 29 Amazon LEO satellites to low Earth orbit, the most ever on an Atlas V LEO mission. That's two more than previous missions, made possible by engineering work between Amazon LEO and ULA to use additional performance from the RL-10C upper stage engine. The team also added a fourth level to the satellite dispenser system, allowing more satellites to fly on a single launch and further accelerate deployment of the constellation. Around the world, billions of people still lack access to high-speed internet. Amazon LEO is working to deliver fast, reliable internet to customers and communities beyond the reach of existing networks. Let's take a closer look. Well, I love to talk about our antennas, and I want to take a second to point out the two types of antennas that are visible on the rocket while it sits on the pad. In this shot, you will notice that there is a large rectangular plane near the boat tail, which is near the bottom of the fairing. This antenna transmits GPS position data so that the range, which is the group that is tracking our trajectory, is able to assess where the rocket is as it flies downrange. This antenna also allows the rocket to receive commands transmitted by the range to ensure the rocket follows a safe trajectory. There's also a smaller triangular antenna visible on the inner stage adapter, where the booster connects to the fairing boat tail. This is one of our S-band telemetry antennas, and it transmits data from the vehicle that we are able to receive real-time on the ground. Another interesting thing about our radio frequency and telemetry configuration is that we only have one telemetry transmitter aboard this rocket, and we need to be able to transmit data both during boost phase and upper stage flight. This presents an interesting design challenge since the Centaur is enclosed entirely in the fairing and cannot transmit through its own antennas inside the fairing. We have a series of coaxial cables running from the Centaur avionics shelf to the interior of the fairing, allowing us to transmit through two separate sets of antennas depending on the stage of flight. As we get closer to the opening of our launch window, let's take a look at the weather forecast from the Space Launch Delta 45 weather officer. Today's forecast for launch is looking good. The probability of violating launch constraints is only 5%. Ground winds are 9 to 18 knots out of the southeast, and the temperature is 71 degrees Fahrenheit. The primary concern for launch today is the cumulus cloud rule. Once Atlas lifts off, viewers watching this launch from Florida and certain points to the northeast may be able to see this launch in flight. To get a closer look at this visibility map, check out @ULA_launch on social media. We remain in the planned 30-minute hold as we continue towards liftoff. In just a few moments, ULA launch conductor Scott Barney will pull the team for the final go to resume the countdown. The launch conductor oversees the team during this process, confirming that all systems are operating normally and that the countdown is proceeding as planned. A total of 28 engineers will be pulled to confirm the rocket is ready to move forward. This is the final status check of the Atlas V vehicle, ground systems, the payload, and the U.S. Space Force Eastern Range. Let's listen in as the team conducts the poll.
L-7 minutes.
Status check to proceed with terminal count. Atlas system propulsion.
Go.
Hydraulics.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
Water.
Go.
Centaur systems propulsion. Go. Pneumatics.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
Gas.
Go.
Electrical systems airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFFTS.
Go.
Flight control.
Go.
GCQ.
Go.
Op support. Go. COM.
Go.
Umbilicals.
Go.
Environmental control systems.
Go.
Redline monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Op safety manager.
Go.
Relay safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
Go.
Anomaly chief.
Go.
Range and weather.
Go.
Launch director.
You have permission to launch.
Proceeding with the count. ALC, verify T0 is set for 05:46:000.
Verified.
Polling is complete, and the team is go for launch. From now until liftoff, launch conductor Scott Barney will lead the team through the final steps in today's countdown. This includes verifying propellant levels and pressures in both the booster and Centaur tanks, as well as arming the ordnance for ignition, stage separation, and flight termination. At T-1 minute, the range will confirm it is in a green condition for launch, meaning there are no constraints such as boats, aircraft, or weather, and that all tracking systems are ready. At T-25 seconds, you will hear Go Atlas, Go Centaur, Go Amazon Leo, the final status check for the rocket and payload. To help reduce the intense sound energy at liftoff, the launch pad's water deluge system activates at T-6 seconds, followed moments later by booster engine ignition. Then, after liftoff, you will hear flight commentator Corey Buckingham providing live updates as the rocket ascends into space. Today's Atlas Leo launch will mark the 5th launch of a full stack of Leo spacecraft on a ULA Atlas. Atlas also launched a Leo proto-flight in 2023 with a modified stack. ULA will fly 3 more Atlas Leo missions after Leo 5, and then Amazon spacecraft will begin launching on Vulcan rockets. The specially modified 85K Centaur 5 tank will allow Vulcan to launch even more Leo satellites with each mission. This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and 16 seconds about to release the hold. We anticipate releasing the hold in just a few minutes.
On my mark, the time will be 4 minutes and counting. 3, 2, 1, mark.
The countdown clock has resumed and we are go for launch at 1:46 a.m. Eastern. After liftoff, ULA's Atlas V rocket will fly northeast from Space Launch Complex 41. Here's a look at today's flight.
Following final confirmation of rocket readiness, the RD-180 engine and 5 solid rocket boosters ignite to produce more than 2 million pounds of thrust, lifting ULA's Atlas V rocket away from the pad. Shortly after liftoff, the rocket begins a pitchover to attain the proper flight path while minimizing the dynamic pressure it experiences during flight. Atlas then reaches Mach 1, the speed of sound. The addition of 5 solid rocket boosters, or SRBs, precisely augment the liftoff thrust of the Atlas V, giving it the power to deliver the payload to orbit. With their propellant expired approximately 96 seconds into ascent, the SRBs burn out, followed by jettison. Atlas's guidance system then begins steering towards the precise target in space. Amazon's LEO satellites are encapsulated inside a 5-meter diameter payload fairing, which provides protection to the spacecraft during ascent. After crossing the Kármán line, entering space, the payload fairing is jettisoned. With the majority of propellant expended fighting against the force of gravity, the RD-180 engine shuts down and the booster stage separates. The rocket then begins second stage flight, weighing less than 7% of what it did at liftoff. ULA's high-performance Centaur, with its RL-10 engine, ignites, powering the upper stage and spacecraft into a circular low Earth orbit. The first burn comes to an end with engine shutdown. Centaur then rotates into the precise position to release Amazon's LEO satellites, spacecraft that will deliver fast, reliable internet to customers around the world.
T-minus 90 seconds. The launch vehicle, ground systems, payload, and Eastern Range are go for launch. For those of you just tuning in, I'm Abigail Outkeld, joining you for today's live coverage of ULA's Atlas V launch of Amazon Leo 5. At this time, the team is not working any issues, and we're proceeding towards liftoff at 1:46 a.m. Eastern.
Bent bows locked.
OCU's on.
60.
Range green.
Stable at step 3.
Verify ECS ruse for launch. 25. Verified. Status check.
Go Atlas.
Go Centaur. Go Leo.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, we have ignition, 2, 1, and liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket, carrying another 29 satellites for Amazon Leo. These spacecraft will deliver fast, reliable internet to customers around the world.
RD-180 now throttling up now that we've passed through the max Q period of flight. We're flying down the center of the range track at 1,800 miles per hour.
You are hearing the voice of flight commentator Corey Buckingham providing launch vehicle ascent data.
RD-180 now throttling down in preparation for SRB burnout. The vehicle is now 1/2 of its liftoff weight. SRB burnout declared. RD-180 throttling up to full thrust following burnout.
This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 1 minute and 45 seconds. We are coming up on burnout and jettison of the solid rocket boosters. These additional motors augmented the thrust at liftoff, giving Atlas an extra boost off the pad.
All engine parameters continue to look nominal. Current altitude 35 nautical miles, downrange distance 50 miles.
We are just over 2 minutes into flight. Coming up next, the Atlas V rocket will transition to closed-loop steering, meaning it will begin using real-time flight data to adjust its path. One thing many people don't realize about launch day is that these key milestones are pre-programmed into the rocket's onboard computer, known as its avionics system. While it may seem like engineers are commanding each step in real time, that work is done in advance and tested in ULA's Systems Integration Lab in Denver. On launch day, the team is focused on monitoring the data coming back from the rocket to make sure everything is performing as expected.
Now holding acceleration at 2.5 Gs in preparation for fairing jettison. Centaur reaction control system pressurizing to flight levels. The vehicle is now 1/4 of its liftoff weight. Confirmation of payload fairing jettison and CFLR deck jettison. The RD-180 is now throttling up after CFLR deck jettison. One minute to BECO, all systems performing nominally.
Flight commentator Corey Buckingham just called out confirmation of payload fairing jettison. This composite fairing protects the spacecraft as it pushes through the harshest parts of Earth's atmosphere. Coming up, we will hear callouts for cutoff of the Atlas first stage engine and separation of the booster stage, followed by ignition of ULA's Centaur second stage engine. These events occur when the first stage has escaped Earth's atmosphere, getting above the Kármán line and into space. ULA's Centaur upper stage, with the Amazon LEO satellites attached, then takes over on a trajectory to precise locations in low Earth orbit. Let's listen in as we approach these milestones.
Boost base chilldown complete. BECO, booster engine cutoff. Confirmation of booster separation. Pre-start on fuel and locks. Ignition and full thrust. RL-10 engine is running nominally.
This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 5 minutes and 8 seconds. We just heard flight commentator Corey Buckingham confirm the successful completion of the early milestones in today's flight, and all systems continue to operate nominally. We have about 12 minutes until we reach our next mission event, which is shutdown of Centaur's main engine. This morning, we've learned about rockets, satellites, and deployments, but at the heart of it all is Amazon LEO's mission, extending fast, reliable internet to customers and communities beyond the reach of existing networks. Let's take a look inside rural Montana, where staying connected can still be a daily challenge.
Montana for me is just the beauty of being wild. It's nice to have a little place that's off the beaten path to kind of go kick around with my son and see wildlife in more of a natural state.
There are very tight family bonds to the landscape here. We have a number of families who have had it for 3 and 4 and 5 generations in our valley. Legacy to me is continuing the vision that my grandfather had for this place.
Everyone out here cares deeply about the place and stewarding the resources and the landscape.
I came up here and fell in love with the area. Hey, one more. I really like Montanans. They're really honest people that care about each other and just like living rurally.
Man, I grew up here just always playing with wildlife, being out in the middle of nowhere. I love it. I love sharing it too. I like bringing people out and showing them. MPG Ranch is a 15,000 acre conservation ranch. We want to create an educational experience and let people really tie in with the land. We like to make wildlife documentaries and we share all our wildlife cams. So if we come across a unique or a different behavior of wildlife, we love to share it. A lot of papers have been published on a lot of the findings we've found over the years. We do a lot of outreach with high school and college and give college students opportunity to do their research. I am the field tech at MPG Ranch. I maintain all the Buckeye cameras and the live streaming cameras, the internet on the ranch, make sure it's all staying connected. So we're on Indian Ridge here, and this is kind of the center front country of the ranch. We're kind of remote. We're off the beaten path here. We really didn't have anything but dial-up off some phone networks that were in really bad disrepair. So we are accessing through microwaves that go to Dean Stone, shoot down to Missoula, and all that space is rented. One camera in the chain gets knocked out and then I lose connectivity and then I have to run out and go fix that chain. This network took 10 years to build. It's a hard process and a lot of maintenance.
It was Grandpa's dream to get to Montana and find a way to do it. So here we are. We never left. We are in west central Montana. We're in the Blackfoot River watershed. So if you've seen the movie A River Runs Through It, that river is right along next to us here, just on the other side of this ridge. And generally you're going to find commercial cow-calf operations in this whole valley, taking advantage of the grass and the water and the resources that are here.
We're on our 5th generation family ranch in Helmville, Montana. It was homesteaded in 1882. A lot of family history out here. We run about 1,250 mother cows, and we keep some over to 2 years and finish them and sell a grass-finished beef direct to consumer and wholesale to restaurants and grocery stores locally. Certainly we use, internet for the direct marketing business. We have an email newsletter, we have Facebook ads and posts and Instagram posts for marketing that business. Sometimes the speed gets a little bit frustrating. We don't have cell service out here, so all of our cell phones only work when we're around internet.
When our cows are out in the pasture, they're out in the field, or they're in those mountains, you don't see them. You go in and we call by voice. That's something Norwegians do. It was something my grandpa did to gather the milk cows. One thing about our ranch, because of that legacy aspect and wanting to keep the ground, it's really a poor business decision. It maintains itself, it sustains itself, but for us to pay our bills and to build a home, every single one of us has an off-ranch job. Myself, I do the maintenance, custodian, and grounds work for our local school district. My wife, she's a project manager for a health insurance company based in Boston, but she works remotely. She's on Teams all day, but that means when I go home for lunch, I can't get internet because I'll ruin her meeting. So we have to kind of balance that. Are you on a meeting right now? Can I look up something? So everybody works off the ranch to help maintain this place and keep this thing going because we don't want to lose it. It is important. It's very important. I know that's been an issue for other folks working in the valley who need better connectivity.
Hi, Don.
Hello.
How you doing? Good. How's your shoulder feeling?
Get kind of pinches.
Okay, how about, so give me all the way to your arm, just relax it completely. Good. So I'm gonna bring you across here. I opened this practice in 2004. We're a physical therapy practice called Rejuvenate. And then we're gonna come straight. Okay, hold there. Now push up against this hand. We're 60 miles away from the next closest town. So it's really important to have local health care here. In order to get core strength, you gotta you're just making people's life a lot more functional without, okay, great, being really invasive. So we're not using any medications or any type of surgery. You're just doing it all through physical medicine and education. Nice. Have a seat, which makes a big impact in their life. Great. Our internet's not very quick. We have to document on everything we do with every patient. So the upload speed we have right now is about 4 megabytes per second. And so that takes a while. And sometimes we're typing in an eval and we'll lose connectivity and lose the whole thing and have to start from the beginning. Good. Your hips are in great position. If we had quicker connectivity, I could do a lot more in my day. Look quicker, search quicker, and then just keeping up with continuing education. It's frustrating when you're paying for a service and it's down or it's so slow. So it would be great to be just more efficient in what you do. I'm always looking up research and you're still just waiting and waiting. So it would be nice to be in control of that. Yeah. I think everyone would enjoy that.
If I had internet back there in the wilderness, the potential would be huge. We could have these essentially small footprint base stations. It would take less maintenance and we could create more of a network out in the remote areas. Oh, this would be awesome.
Having a strong telecommunications backbone is going to help, I believe, a lot of those younger generations to be able to move back and still make a living, be on these places, and to keep those legacies intact and to keep that ground working.
This is Atlas Mission Control at Outpost 13 minutes and 55 seconds. We have less than 5 minutes until we reach our next mission event, shutdown of Centaur's main engine. We will return with mission commentary as we approach that next milestone. During our break-in commentary, we will continue to stream live animation from flight.
All engine operating parameters continue to be nominal. Current altitude 300 miles and velocity 15,200 miles per hour. Now 3 minutes remaining in the burn. As previously mentioned, there will be 10 deploy events for this mission. Each separation will be initiated with an ARM command followed by a deploy command from the ULA flight computer. After each deployment occurs, there will be a roll maneuver and or settling maneuver. Now 2 minutes to MECO. The vehicle's present position is currently over the northern Atlantic Ocean. The first SVSEP event is expected to occur over the United Kingdom area. Now 80 seconds until MECO 1. After MECO, there will be approximately a 3-minute coast as we get into the SV separation sequence. One minute to MECO. .30 seconds to MECO. IIP vanish. The vehicle is now orbital. PU system and open loop control going into MECO.
This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 18 minutes and 5 seconds. We are coming up on the end of the first of 3 Centaur upper stage engine burns. Let's listen in.
The vehicle has begun its turn to the SV SEP 1 attitude. Control looks good during the turn.
We have just heard confirmation of the successful first burn. In about 2.5 minutes, we will begin the deployment sequence for 29 LEO satellites into low Earth orbit. This will take about 16.5 minutes to complete. Let's listen in as we approach deployment of the first batch.
Now 1 minute to the first of 10 deployment events. Review of the MECO 1 OPM shows a very accurate orbit injection. Vehicle and attitude for separation. Confirmation of successful separation of the first 3 LEO satellites.
This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 21 minutes and 20 seconds. We just heard confirmation of the first of 10 events to deploy all 29 spacecraft for Amazon's Atlas V LEO 5 mission. As we've mentioned, LEO is Amazon's low Earth orbit satellite constellation, designed to deliver fast, reliable internet to customers beyond the reach of traditional networks. The full constellation will include more than 3,000 satellites, and their altitude allows for lower latency than traditional satellite systems. Each satellite uses electric propulsion for orbit raising, maneuvering, collision avoidance, and safety orbiting at the end of its mission. They also use optical inter-satellite links, infrared lasers that transfer data between spacecraft, forming a secure network in space. To deploy the satellites, all 29 are mounted to a dispenser system attached to ULA's Centaur upper stage. Today's dispenser consists of 3 tiers of 9 satellites each, with an additional 2 satellites on the final tier, affectionately referred to by engineers as the cake topper. Once Centaur reaches the target deployment altitude, the satellites are released 3 at a time, with short pauses in between, starting with the bottom tier. During this process, ULA engineers are closely monitoring data to confirm each deployment is successful and that all systems remain healthy. We have 9 more deployments ahead, so we'll step away from commentary for now and return as we approach the final deployment. In the meantime, we will continue to show live animation of the mission.
In attitude for SEP. Confirmation of successful SVSEP-2. The next deployment event will be in approximately 2 minutes. The vehicle has begun another roll maneuver. One minute until SVSEP event number 3. Roll rate is ramping down. Successful deployment of 3 more Amazon LEO satellites. That's 9 satellites separated and 20 more to go tonight. The vehicle has now switched its antenna select to the Teeters 275 asset. Now 1 minute until the 4th SBSEP event. Indication of successful deployment number 4. The vehicle has initiated a roll maneuver as expected. One minute till SBSEP event number 5. The purpose of both of these roll maneuvers and settling is to maximize the relative distance between the spacecraft prior to Amazon maneuvering their assets to their operational orbit. Twenty seconds to set. Successful deployment of the 3 SBSEP-5 satellites. Five SBSEP events down and 5 more to go. Approximately 90 seconds until SBSEP event number 6. The vehicle is performing another roll maneuver. The reaction control system looks good. .30 seconds to the next deployment. Positive confirmation of SB Sub 6. One minute to SB Sub Event 7. Three more Amazon LEO satellites deployed. That is 21 satellites deployed with 8 more still to go. The vehicle has started a roll maneuver. The present position of the vehicle is currently over Asia. We have traversed over all of Europe. The second burn today will be performed over the Indian Ocean, with the Centaur being disposed of in the Pacific Ocean. Positive indication of SB Sep 8. 1 minute 40 seconds until the 9th SB Sep event. Maneuver complete in attitude for SB Sep 9. Three more Amazon LEO satellites deployed successfully. 1 minute until the 10th and final separation event for tonight's launch. Remember that this 10th SBSEP event will be releasing only 2 satellites. Fifteen seconds to set. Good SBSEP. Now all 29 LEO satellites have been successfully separated for our Amazon customer.
This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 37 minutes and 45 seconds. We just heard confirmation of successful deployment of Amazon's 29 LEO satellites. As we wrap up our live coverage, I want to say thank you for tuning into this morning's flight and remind you to visit ulalaunch.com, follow us on social media at ulalaunch, and just subscribe to our YouTube channel. And join us next month for another Atlas V launch for Amazon LEO. Before we sign off, let's take another look at liftoff.
10, 9,
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, we have ignition, 2, 1, and liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket, carrying another 29 satellites for Amazon LEO. These spacecraft will deliver fast, reliable internet to customers around the world.